Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you. Kasha's Bazaar has an unconventional inventory for the discerning geek collector. Comic book-related collectibles, vintage New Orleans items, militaria, and plenty for your mundane friends. Kasha's Bazaar, 5727 Jefferson Highway, the Unflea Market.
Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop. Before you get booked up, head over to 631 North Carrollton, right off Orleans, to Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop. Off the books, Tubby & Coo's is a nerd mecca for books, board games, and geeky t-shirts. So book it over to Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop at 631 North Carrollton. If you don't want to do it by the book, use their free Wi-Fi and check their stock at tubbyandcoos.com. Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, where it's all geek to me.
When you're in need of pain relief, come to Need It Relief Massage Therapy. Kat is an experienced licensed massage therapist. Check out her website and book your session online now at massagetherapykm.com. Need It Relief Massage Therapy for some much needed relief.
Resistance is futile.
Boldly going where no show has gone before. This is the Week in Geek on Fox Sports 1280. Broadcasting from the tubbyandcoos.com studios, here's David and Brian.
Good afternoon, New Orleans. This is the Week in Geek on Fox Sports 1280, coming to you live from the tubbyandcoos.com studios. This is D Squared with
Brian Held.
How the hell are you, Brian?
If I were any better right now, I would literally explode.
Really? Now, I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
No. I don't know the cleaning bill, but...
I'm super excited.
Why?
Because,
Why are you?
Because my audiobook that I narrated dropped earlier this week.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Here it comes.
Oh, thank you, Dave.
You got to do the little Pope wave now, or the Queen.
Yeah, so...
where can we find it, Brian?
You can find Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid, Volume 1 by Nancy Hansen, narrated by me, on Amazon, Audible, or on iTunes.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the name of the book again?
Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid, Volume 1.
Is that a song like Juke Joint Jezebel?
I'm not sure. But I'm waiting to see if I got some promo codes coming in. Maybe we'll give them away as prizes on the show.
Now that's how you parlay it, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. As always, we strongly urge you to check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Week in Geek, or check out our website at twigradio.com, and follow us on Twitter at Twig Radio, and the Instagrams, The Week in Geek. Now, Brian, how can people listen to this lovely show?
Well, once we're off the air, we're going to load this up on Spreaker.com, or you can download Spreaker for your smartphone or tablet. We're also on iTunes, YouTube, Overcast, Podfanatic, Pocket Casts, and at FoxSportsAM1280.com.
Yes.
Yes.
What you said.
Yes.
That's a lot of stuff.
That is a lot of stuff.
All right, so let's lay out the show real quick. As always, we'll open up with our boy Skungy and his pick of the week, and we have not one, but two.
Two interviews, yeah. The first interview is with Catherine Arden. I actually did that on Monday, and she's promoting her new book, The Bear and the Nightingale. I am so excited that this book needs to be Book of the Month.
The Bear and the Maiden Fair?
No. But okay. The second interview is with Sam J. Jones. You got it fired up? That's the man, Flash Gordon himself. We met him at Wizard World Comic Con last weekend and got to talk to him for a little bit. So we'll air that in the third segment.
Yeah, and then we'll do a little top nerd news, and as always, we'll close out the show with This Week in Geek History. But without much further ado, let's bring on our boy Skungy and his pick of the week.
I am not what you would call a handsome man.
Skungy's Pick of the Week is brought to you by GameStop and ThinkGeek.com.
Skungy's Pick of the Week.
You might be an idiot savant.
Woohoo!
Skungy, what's shaking bacon?
Gentlemen, how are we doing? How's the con hangover?
Oh, man.
It's Thursday. We're fine.
Dude,
you sure?
No.
Dude,
No.
I was back at work Monday morning, and I knocked out that interview Monday night. I no time to be weary.
No rest.
No rest. So,
what are we
the
talking
pick
about?
for this week is not necessarily a game. It's about an event that's happening tonight.
What?
Yes, tonight on YouTube, Twitch, and I think you can also find it Nintendo themselves. will be the reveal and all the information about the new Nintendo Switch coming out in March.
So this is their new hardware platform, right?
This is their new system. This is like replacing the Wii U.
Wait, is this the one that I was dogging earlier?
Maybe a little bit. Yeah, you gave it a little bit of a razzing, but here's the thing. It seems like I haven't gotten like confirmation yet, but from what people in the industry are saying is that this is what Nintendo's going with from now on. The rumor is that Nintendo is shutting down their handheld departments.
But isn't this like a handheld?
It is a handheld, but it's a console as well.
Right, like you drop it into a dock in front of your TV, but then you can take it on the bus with you?
Exactly. But that means that they're probably not going to be making like 3DSs anymore after this.
Well, that's kind of good,
like they're putting their faith in this.
Oh, well, that's not smart.
Well, but if it's an all-in-one, Dave, I mean, you can have
both
worlds.
Diversification, that's the word in business, diversification.
Yeah, but hardware's expensive, and companies usually lose money on hardware.
How long has the Wii U been defunct, Skungy?
The Wii U they haven't made any Wii U's. They didn't make any of them, if I'm correct, in 2016. They stopped making them at the end of 2015.
And so, are they still making games for it, or are they just done with that as well?
They have. There's been a handful of games that have come out for it in the last year. They've had, and it's been mainly first-party titles made by Nintendo. And what it looks like is like the last one that's going to come out is Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, which will also be a launch title for the Switch.
Oh, okay. So
but
is
that's
that
like
good?
the last thing coming out for it.
Well, damn. Well,
but
I got
like
nothing.
I said, this press conference that's happening at 10 o'clock tonight, it's like daytime in Japan where they're actually having it. But it's going to give all the information. It's coming out in March, but it's going to have the exact date of when it's coming out. It's going to have the exact price, which is rumored to be between $200 and $300, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. And they're going to what games are coming with it. Apparently, they're going to have a lot of third-party support for it, which is something that Nintendo has needed for about 15 years.
Huh.
Well, and real quick, what's the thing that we saw about Nintendo and Final Fantasy? There was some spat. Do you know anything about that?
Well, that was back when the Nintendo 64 happened. See, when the Nintendo 64 came out, they were originally going to make a disc-based system, but they decided to stay with cartridge. Squaresoft, at the time, it wasn't Square Enix, it was just Squaresoft. They wanted to put Final Fantasy VII with Nintendo. The problem, because they had done everything with Nintendo in the past. But the problem was that with the technologies that they were using, they needed to have, the disk space in order to have Final Fantasy VII. And since they had that spat, Nintendo basically told them, don't come back.
Wow.
Which was stupid on their part.
Right.
And Nintendo has been kind of reeling from it. But, that was old Nintendo. Hopefully, the new people like Reggie Fils-Aimé, who's the president of Nintendo America, it's kind of like, smooth that out a little bit, hopefully with this next console generation.
So it's interesting you say that the mobile department is kind of defunct now. Do you know anything about the Super Game Boy that was announced at CES?
No, I actually hadn't seen anything about CES, but is that isn't that like a Super Nintendo, a handheld Super Nintendo?
So this team over at Retrobit showed off a brand new souped-up Game Boy. It's the same form factor as the original, but there's more to it. It plays original Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance cartridges, has a 10-hour battery life and a shatter-resistant display, and it's $80. And
that's amazing. That's an amazing price point for that. See, there's a huge market for retro gaming still because people still remember playing all those games. Gamers have grown up. When they were kids, they had that. Now they're older, but they still want to play those games because they have more time and more money, and they couldn't play all the games when they were kids because they didn't have the money.
Well, and that Nintendo Classic thing that just came out recently just flew off the shelves.
Yeah, some of them still haven't even restocked yet.
Once again, Nintendo not knowing their butt from a hole in the ground with that because there was a store in Malaysia that had 1,000. There's a picture of a store that had 1,000 of those items, and we can't get 10 of them in the United States.
Wow.
Man, so should we have high hopes for this Switch?
I'm cautiously optimistic is the word I'm going to say.
So I'm going to go with no. They're screwed.
Well,
You're so
they
cynical,
actually, I know for a fact that the allotment on this the initial allotment is a lot larger than previous Nintendo,
and they're going to take a bath
it's
on
larger, but it's larger than also the PlayStation 4's allotment.
Wow.
Dun, dun, dun. Well, good.
So
that means that they'll
what
have so many on the shelves, they'll have to reduce the price. So then I'll buy one when they go cheap.
I mean, it's the wave of the future. Nintendo's always been about innovation. They've always about trying something new. So you got to give it to that. They don't rest on the laurels. They don't just sit there and go, "Oh, look, we've done this, and we're going to put the same thing out over and over again." No, they always try to do something new. So I give it to them on that. It's going to be a risk, but we'll see tonight with this press conference, which, like I said, you can watch on Twitch, you can watch on YouTube, and make the judgment for yourself tonight.
Well, thanks, Skungy. We'll do that.
All right.
All right, man. You got anything else for us?
2 words from Dave.
What's that?
You're fired.
There you go.
All right,
All right, Skungy. See you next week, buddy.
Later, guys.
All right, Brian. Take us to break.
Guys, stay tuned. When we get back, we'll have an interview with Catherine Arden and telling us all about the bear and the nightingale. And stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on Fox Sports 1280.
Is still heavy on your way in from Metairie to the CBD on the Riverbound Expressway. We've got slowing from West End all the way up toward the bridge, and also watch for heavy traffic on I-610 westbound starting at Canal Boulevard heading into Metairie. Delays are also backing up on I-10 East in Kenner from Loyola Drive to Power. I'm Lisa Baque. If you see traffic problems, call us 504-620-1000.
This report is brought to you by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Someone you know is suffering from Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. They're dealing with excruciating pain and days when they won't be able to get out of bed. Help someone you know and support the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America at ccfa.org.
From the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Bruce Katz in the Fox 8 Weather Center for your Thursday afternoon. We are expecting partly cloudy skies, temperatures in the mid-70s. Now, we may see a stray shower, rain chance today at about 20%. Overnight lows tonight in the upper 50s on the North Shore, lower 60s south. Patchy dense morning fog builds in. And for the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, not expecting much rain. The rain chance coming in less than 20%, but it will be warm and muggy, mid to upper 70s during the day, with overnight lows in the 50s with more patchy fog each morning. From the Fox 8 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Bruce Katz with your Weather Authority forecast.
This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
When Marlon Shirley was 5, he lost his foot. Today, as the world's fastest amputee, he runs the 100 meters in less time than it takes to listen to this. Overcoming. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life.
The Home Depot has a new idea. Free carpet installation that means free carpet installation. Moving furniture out of the way, free. Ripping out the old carpet, no charge. Hauling it away, on the house. Because the Home Depot has no hidden fees. Just free carpet installation on purchases of $699 or more. The Home Depot. More saving. More doing. Valid on carpet price $1 or more per square foot. Unique specialty items and requirements may be priced separately. Not valid in all markets. Offer ends January 18th.
When you're in need of pain relief, come to Need It Relief Massage Therapy. Kat is an experienced licensed massage therapist. Check out her website and book your session online now at massagetherapykm.com. Need It Relief Massage Therapy for some much needed relief.
Tubby and Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Before you get booked up, head over to 631 North Carrollton, right off Orleans, to Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Off the books, Tubby & Coos is a nerd mecca for books, board games, and geeky t-shirts. So book it over to Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop at 631 North Carrollton. If you don't want to do it by the book, use their free Wi-Fi and check their stock at tubbyandcoos.com. Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop, where it's all geek to me.
Question: would you seat your 3-year-old child on a windowsill? And would you seat them in a car seat that's not the correct one? Secure their future. Seat them in the correct car seat. More info at safercar.gov/the right seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Kasha's Bazaar, located at 5727 Jesson Highway, across from Red, White, and Blue. Geeky collectibles and more. Find them on Facebook at facebook.com/Kasha's Bazaar. Kasha's Bazaar, 5727 Jesson Highway, the unflea market. Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
Hello, creeps. It's me, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper, and you're listening to The Week in Geek.
This is Brian Hill with the Week in Geek radio show on Fox Sports 1280, and I'm joined by author Catherine Arden. Hey, how are you?
Doing great, Brian. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, definitely. We're talking to you today about a book that's just about to come out, The Bear and the Nightingale. But before we touch on that, I want to ask you, you have a background in French and Russian literature. But that's the basis for this book. How did you get there? What drove you into that interest?
I mean, I always enjoyed, learning about other cultures, and I especially loved Russia. And Russian fairy tales as a kid, and I had this book of Russian fairy tales that I adored. I had some Russian friends growing up, and when I was a teenager, I took a month or so to go to Moscow after high school, after I graduated from high school, and I just loved it. And so I moved back after high school, the fall afterwards. I took a gap year from school. I studied Russian for a year in Moscow, and I fell in love with the country. And moved back to the States after a year, went to college, studied Russian and then French as well. Went to both France and Russia as part of my degree program. And then when I was finished with those things, I moved out to Hawaii.
Wow.
Being tired of the cold.
Yeah.
As you can be. And it was the strangest thing, because I went out to Hawaii to work on a farm for a few months. I meant to be a diplomat or an international business person, and that's kind of where I was going with the foreign languages. But then when I was in Hawaii, I ended up on this farm next to a Russian family whose little daughter was 5 years old, and she was so amazing, this great kid. When I met her, I was like, that kid could be in a book. And I had written a lot of fiction in high school, and I decided to pick it back up and just write this book. So I started writing, and I enjoyed it, and I kept going and going. And at some point, I was like, could I publish this book? And eventually did, or will do. And that is how I ended up sort of spending the last couple of years really focusing on Russia.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, that the young girl that was from this family has the same name as your protagonist, right?
Vasilisa.
Vasilisa, yeah, okay.
That's right, yeah, and it's a wonderful name. It's a beautiful name. It's a very Russian fairy tale name. It's a common name in Russian fairy tales, and I loved it, so I picked it for my main character and kind of just never looked back.
And of course, Russian fairy tales is where The Bear and the Nightingale is all about. Its basis is in that. But tell me about developing this, because look, we got an advanced reader copy, and I just could not put this thing down. So it was fantastic. Tell me about it.
Well, I mean, honestly, the only thing I had in my head when I first started was the opening scene, which is the scene with this Russian family in the Middle Ages out in the countryside sitting around a giant Russian oven called a pech. And Russian ovens at that time were huge. They were bigger than half the house. People slept on top of them in the winter. They were bed-sized. And so I had this image of this family sitting around an oven telling stories. And so I'm like, okay, start with that. So I set this scene where this family is telling a story, and actually I retell the story, a fairy tale, in the first chapter of my book. And then I just started riffing on the fairy tale. And I really didn't have an end in mind when I first started. And it really just, it grew in the telling. And it's kind of a long process of revising and rewriting and having a new idea and changing course, and it was very haphazard way to write a book, but it did somehow work out. I don't know how.
Well, and the book itself it's not, I wouldn't characterize it as fast-paced, but it's so in-depth, it pulls you in, and it just, you don't want the story to end. So tell me about the medieval time period, the focus for that.
Well, one thing I wanted to do was to set my book in an actual historical time period, in this case, the Middle Ages. I felt that would give the story some force and authenticity that just like a purely fantasy Russia wouldn't have. At the same time, I felt like it'd be interesting to write a book set before almost everyone's notions of Russia start. Like, this is set before Ivan the Terrible, before the Tsars happen, before the Russian Empire is a thing, before Peter the Great, before the USSR. Like, everything you think about when you think of Russia hasn't happened yet, historically, in the 1350s. And so I felt like it was a way to almost clean the slate, as it were, for a Western and American reader to come at this like book set in Russia without any of like the stereotypes or the kind of cosmology of like Russian theme stories that you already have, right?
Right.
So it was to go in a different direction and to try to explore Russia without this kind of baggage of cliche,
and
at least in theory.
Right. And you even mentioned the Mongols, right?
I mean, at this time period, the Russia or northern Russia was under the control of the Mongols, who had conquered it about 200 years prior. They conquered most of the world. They conquered China. They were all over the place. And at this time, like what is now like Moscow and that region was controlled by the Golden Horde, this branch of the Mongol Empire, from a city to the south called Sarai. And so you have this kind of disparate collection of Russian princes who are either allies of the Mongols or resisting quietly or just don't care. But it's a very scattered, very, very complex political situation, which I found interesting and also very poorly explored in fiction.
Right.
It's not well documented time period. There aren't many primary sources. There's not much like to go on for historians. So it gives room for an author to say, well, this could have happened.
Well, and you mentioned, this is perfect, you mentioned the room for an author, the it's not been explored, and this is not the end for you with this tale. You have more coming, right?
Yep, there's going to be 2 more books after the first one. The first one is set largely in the countryside to the north of what is now Moscow. And then the second book is set largely in medieval Moscow, right? And kind of we start moving a little more into like the politics of the day as the series progresses. And there's historical characters in the book along with made up characters, along with like sort of fairy tale folklore characters that come from Russian mythology. So it's a kind of a hodgepodge of made up stuff, old made up stuff, and historical stuff.
Well, and you did the characters in the book, and I'm not giving anything away, but they do enter Moscow. There is some political intrigue that happens, and in those scenes you can tell that there's so much more to that city to delve into.
I mean, I didn't want to have one of those books where like every historical part's a history lesson, like where you're kind of like running down your research being like, well, I should mention this and that and something else to prove I did my research. I wanted to like kind of touch on or hint at like depths, but not, make the reader sit through like, a council meeting right. where everyone's got a long name and nobody makes any sense, Oh
yeah.
Cause who wants that really?
Most definitely. So we're talking with Catherine Arden, author of The Bear and the Nightingale. And tell me, when is this book on stands? When can folks get this in their hands?
So it'll be on sale January 10th to Tuesday, pretty much everywhere. I think any bookstore should have it. Your library, you can order it on Amazon as well as from indie bookstores or anywhere really. Yeah.
And what formats are the book in?
It is a hardcover, as well as a Kindle version, an ebook, and an audiobook.
Okay.
You can get on Audible as well. Yep.
Nice. And where do folks find out more about you and what's coming out?
Definitely my Twitter is a good place, or Instagram. The name is @Arden_Catherine. or my website, CatherineArden.com, are the best places, I would say. Or Facebook. Look for Catherine Arden.
Good deal. And any tours that you're doing with this right now?
Yep, I'll be in Austin, Texas on January 10th, and then I'll be in Cambridge, Massachusetts on Friday, January 13th, a lucky day.
Yeah.
And then in New York and Boston at the end, New York and Burlington at the end of the month, and then in Middlebury, Vermont in February.
Fantastic. Well, Catherine, I appreciate so much you're taking the time to be with us here today. And guys, go read this book. It's awesome.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
From the Taxman Financial Service Traffic Center.
Traffic is building up, heading out to Metairie. We've got word from accident on near Power Boulevard, and we've got thick traffic starting near Bonneville, westbound on I-10. Traffic is also still developing on the Riverbound Expressway from West End up to the Crescent City connection, and looking slow on I-10 westbound from Esplanade to the Claiborne flyover. Traffic is also heavy near Broad on I-610 East, approaching the high-rise. I'm Lisa Baque. Follow us on Twitter at TotalTrafficNO.
This report is brought to you by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Someone you know is suffering from Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. They're dealing with excruciating pain and days when they won't be able to get out of bed. Help someone you know and support the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America at ccfa.org.
Small business owners, here's a thought. 63% of iHeartRadio listeners say they've made purchases based on what our personalities recommend. There's no better way to grow your small business than with the ultimate word of mouth. iHeartRadio. Call 844-BUY-RADIO to learn more.
I'm Miranda Flagg, a student here at Southeastern Louisiana University, and this past year I received a $4,000 scholarship from the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters. The scholarship is awarded to full-time broadcast journalism students studying at a Louisiana college or university. Call 1-800-363-7260 or visit broadcasters.org to find out how you can be the next recipient. The LAB Scholarship Program, guaranteeing the future of quality broadcasting in Louisiana.
It's that time of year when the Braves stand up to Old Man Winter. And the rest of us turn tail and get inside. But not for hot cocoa. You've got a house to paint. You're going to paint over scuff marks in the hallway, the fingerprints on the den wall, and the unidentified food stains in the kitchen. And it starts with Lowe's. Lowe's has new lower prices on paint and primer. Now just $17.98, and vanities as low as $89. So let's get this painting party started at Lowe's. While supplies last, U.S. only.
It's 3 p.m. School's out for America's kids. And when school's out, clubs are in. It's time to support the Boys and Girls Clubs. Visit greatfutures.org.
It only takes a minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it at doihaveprediabetes.org. But you're probably not going to, are you? Kids, work, listening to the radio. You're busy, which is great because busy people can't get prediabetes. Oh my, I read that wrong. They can. Should have worn my glasses. So visit doihaveprediabetes.org and take a short test, because prediabetes can be reversed.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
When you're in need of pain relief, come to Need It Relief Massage Therapy. Kat is an experienced licensed massage therapist. Check out her website and book your session online now at massagetherapykm.com. Need It Relief Massage Therapy for some much needed relief.
Tubby and Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Before you get booked up, head over to 631 North Carrollton, right off Orleans, to Tubby and Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Off the books, Tubby and Coos is a nerd mecca for books, board games, and geeky t-shirts. So book it over to Tubby and Coos Mid-City Bookshop at 631 North Carrollton. If you don't want to do it by the book, use their free Wi-Fi and check their stock at tubbyandcoos.com. Tubby and Coos Mid-City Bookshop, where it's all geek to me.
Kasha's Bazaar has an unconventional inventory for the discerning geek collector. Comic book related collectibles, vintage New Orleans items, militaria, and plenty for your mundane friends. Kasha's Bazaar, 5727 Jefferson Highway, the Unflea Market. Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
Yeah, this is Sam J. Jones Flash Gordon, and you are listening to The Week in Geek. You better be listening. I will hunt you down, and I will find you.
This is Brian Howell with the Week in Geek on Fox Sports 1280. I'm here with Sam Jones, best known for his Flash Gordon. How are you?
Fantastic, Brian. Thank you for having me.
Most definitely. And we're here at Wizard World. And how's it going? You having a good time?
Oh, good. I just came from my panel, my Q&A. Of course, I went over because, I give the longest answers, okay?
Well, but that's great, right? You're giving the fans something back, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I was taking a look. You've been busy since Flash Gordon, and you've got a movie coming out this year, Accelerator?
I got a couple movies. One called Accelerator, where I played the hitman. Loved it. I love playing the nemesis, the villain. Did a movie called Head Games, and then we've been shooting, and then another movie, Enter the Fist and the Golden Fleece, another comedy spoof of the 1980s martial art kung fu artist. And then I said Head Games. Oh, yeah. And then Life After Flash. It's sort of an ongoing documentary we've been filming for almost, I think, just under 2 years now. I love it. Yeah. And the documentary is really cool because it's the only project where I have an open platform to say and do what I want to say and do without the guidelines or restrictions of a studio or a network. So I love it. I love it.
No, that's great. So we're going to see that this year, next year?
Well, yeah. Well, the documentary, I don't know, man. We just keep sending crews everywhere and just keep filming. And I never really knew what a documentary was about. You don't write the script until you're done shooting because you have no idea what you're going to shoot. You have an outline and an idea. So we're getting great footage. A lot of, everybody from Stan Lee to Robert Rodriguez, Seth MacFarlane. Everybody's in this. It's going to be wonderful.
Awesome. All right. So where can folks go to find out more about you?
Well, if you go to that website called lifeafterflash.com, lifeafterflash.com, and to give you all that, all the social media, et cetera, et cetera.
Awesome. Well, Sam, it's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it.
And now, your top nerd news stories from around the world. Brought to you by Kasha's Bazaar. Find them at 5727 Jefferson Highway. And now, our top nerd news stories.
Man, Brian, I forgot we were doing a live show there for a minute.
Yeah, I know.
I got to wipe the dust off the microphone.
Jeez. All right, leading us out of the gate here is a press release from our friends over at the Consortium of Genius.
No way. What are they doing now?
So they are opening with Shizaku 7 over at Southport Hall.
That's a good venue.
Wednesday, the 18th at 7:30 p.m. And they're opening for, if I'm going to pronounce this correctly, Machine Supremacy, which is a Nintendo metal band, and a giant robot act out of Dallas called Erzin.
What?
Yeah.
They're going to have a giant robot there?
Apparently, that's their gig.
Okay.
That's their bag. So
Big robots, that's my bag.
So I just looked it up. You can go get tickets from Southport Hall's website, and 7:30 p.m. on the 18th. Go check it out, guys.
And that's a Wednesday?
It is a Wednesday,
wow.
Yes, sir.
That's actually kind of cool. Southport Hall's a good venue, man. I back when I had my band pre-Katrina, we would play that Southport Hall a few times. It was nice, man. It was good times.
Did you have you been following CES, Dave?
No, I have not. That's what I keep you around for.
Right, of course. There's all kind of cool stuff. Some of the highlights. TVs, man. TVs are always a big deal for every CES.
I saw the curved screen is going out of style.
Yeah, why? What's the point, right?
I don't know.
But now they're getting smaller or thinner, I should say. There's a LG TV. It's an OLED. It's just 2.5 millimeters thick.
That's ridiculous,
isn't it?
I mean, a stiff breeze will knock over your TV, and then you got to spend another $2,000 to replace it.
Well, that's part of the gimmick, right? But I mean, it's obviously set up that you should mount it, right? Mount it to a wall type deal.
Wait, what? I mean, it's like the screws are going to be thicker than your TV.
Well, you're going to have a mount, kind of get into the studs type deal. But I do think it's interesting. Everything that powers the TV, it's jammed into this Dolby Atmos soundbar type deal. And at my regular day gig, we actually have some screens that are sort of like this, where the power supplies are removed from the screen. And what it does is the screens run cooler, and you can mitigate the heat that's put out by those power supplies much better. You could put the power supplies in a room that has more efficient cooling, and when in a larger conference space, you have these.
It's a little convoluted, just so I can watch some damn TV, Brian.
Look, it's all worth it, Dave. Trust me.
I don't.
Yeah.
No. Well, I mean, what I don't like that the TVs are getting smaller and thinner, because now we're at the age of disposable tech.
Well,
I mean, like laptops.
Pretty soon, it's not going to matter, because the TVs will be mounted to the back of your eyelids, and you'll just close your eyes.
Well, that
and watch
day
TV.
can't come soon enough.
Something else is interesting is Honda has a self-balancing motorcycle.
That's for me.
That's for you. Well,
yes.
Why are you clumsy on two wheels?
Yes.
Well,
I'm a menace to society on a bike.
What it's really designed for is when you're under 3 miles an hour, like pulling out of your garage or a traffic light.
So you don't lay your bike down on yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's the most dangerous time for me.
Right. So that's kind of cool. Now, here's one that's really super cool and kind of sad is Razer, right? They make tons of gaming peripherals.
Oh, man, I got a great new computer from them.
Did what?
You're
continue. Lying.
Keep going.
You're totally lying.
Go, continue.
So they showed off a laptop with 3 4K displays.
Wow, that's just like mine.
I see where this is going. So, it's 3 17.3-inch displays, and it like folds out type deal.
That's insane. So like, I mean, like literally, like you close the laptop and there's 3 monitors like sandwiched in there. You just slide them out.
Like you open the lid and then you slide the monitors out.
How thick are the monitors?
They're
the same size as that the Frisbee TV that you just were talking about.
Well, we have 2.5 millimeter TVs, so they're it's getting crazy.
So you just slide it out and you got a panoramic view of 4K?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's cool. NVIDIA graphics.
That sounds eerily similar to my new laptop.
So what you're alluding to is the fact that 2 of these, I think they had 5 of them total, but 2 of them were stolen from CES out of a press room.
No way.
Yeah.
The press, you say?
Yeah, the press room, yeah.
I don't know anybody in the press.
Yeah. You're so wrong.
I know a guy down on Canal Street, though.
Mm-hmm. I bet you
Got me a really good deal. 4K graphic editor.
Oh, jeez.
Aren't they offering a reward?
They are $25,000 for any information that leads to.
So, what is the price point on these godforsaken things? They probably don't want to muddy the waters with giving you a price tag.
Well, it's his
firstborn, secondborn child.
But price, weight, and the fact that it will inevitably be hot enough to cook food doesn't matter. It's a 12K gaming laptop. So $12,000.
And an indoor oven.
Yeah. Well, multi-purpose tech is great, right? We love that stuff.
Man. Was there anything else that came out of that?
Yeah. Razer also is trying to deliver VR-like experiences without needing the headset. Their Project Ariana depth-sensing cameras expand the edge of your TVs onto the wall, making the game world more immersive. It's like kind of a projection system type deal.
I can see what you're saying.
And it changes the lighting, based on mood and all kind of stuff. But it's kind of interesting,
It's,
Honestly, I think that once the Microsoft...
everybody's going to have white walls in their houses now.
Well, probably, but
white walls.
I think once the augmented reality comes out is really when that's going to be a game changer. So we got to keep an eye on Microsoft.
Well, that'll be easier. So when our robot overlords start taking over our homes, aren't we almost there?
We are almost.
Didn't
there.
Google just create?
Wait, one more thing. Hulu is coming out with live TV.
Who cares? They already have that.
Well, no,
not live.
It's not live. It's a new interface. It's under $40 a month.
Under 40. Jeez, see, because they got to pay these stupid hack actors with IMDb credits.
It's all the licensing and stuff. All right, we can move on. Talking about robots taking over. There was a huge announcement from Google, and most folks probably missed it.
I know I did. I was busy, shopping.
For?
I don't know, people.
Oh,
Christmas shopping.
Okay.
Because it came out during Christmas.
Yeah, it did. Basically, they've had some leaps in their AI for language, right?
Yeah, right. It's just like the translators, where it just translates catches of phrase or phrases instead of just particular single words.
Right. Now, the guy who wrote the article that I'm referencing was super, like, kind of excited and a little freaked out by it.
Okay.
And there were some clarifications, but basically he's concerned that Google's AI is just creating its own language to use to help in translation. But AIs have actually been doing this for a long time. What it's doing is it's creating a language to bridge the gap between different words that sound similar in different languages in order to make it easier to translate. But they are definitely making huge leaps and bounds.
But it wasn't coded and told to do that. It just started doing it on its own. That's the scary part?
The scary part, yeah.
It was never told to create a I don't know, what do you call it, an abbreviation system or something, or shorthand.
Right.
So it created its own shorthand / Pig Latin so it could talk to itself.
Correct, but that functionality is almost kind of sort of there already. It just kind of did it. It did it in its own efficient manner, right? Is really kind of what happened. It's not completely ready to be Terminator and Skynet and take over.
Oh man, I thought we were like 3 months away from the machines marching down the damn streets.
I mean, it's getting close, Dave.
Okay.
I think we'll see it in our lifetime.
That's what TNT is for.
I tell you, I was using some of this Google Translate stuff for the book that I narrated because there were some Spanish phrases in there.
Sí.
And
Señor.
I was getting
Hola.
Getting Google to read it to me so that I could understand the pronunciation.
Sí, señor. Hola.
Yeah, no, it worked out pretty well. I mean, I like the Google Translate. So,
all right, well, let's move on to Star Wars, man.
Star Wars.
So a Natural Born Killers alum, Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, I see a lot of people not necessarily happy about that.
Dude, there was a time where I could have done without Woody Harrelson, like White Men Can't Jump. They were what was it, Money Train? Him and him and Wesley Snipes were like inseparable.
Right.
Always doing god-awful 80s movies together. But, I mean, after, like, Natural Born Killers, he seemed to, start smoking peyote, and he kind of got cooler. Like, I mean, he was good in Hunger Games.
Yeah, I liked him in Hunger Games.
And he's done some other, highbrow stuff. I mean, dude, he was in No Country for Old Men. Got his whole face blown off with a shotgun. That's just good acting. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, I'm cool with it. I mean, come on. I mean.
So, yes, he's officially joined the cast for.
But did they say he's a villain?
No.
Or they're still just not sure who he is?
It has not been disclosed, but he's officially joined the cast in an undisclosed role for an upcoming untitled standalone Star Wars movie. So
everybody's assuming Han Solo and saying like some people are saying he's going to be Han Solo's mentor.
Mentor Garrus Shrike. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I mean, well, that guy's from the EU universe, the non-canon universe. So
well, it'd be interesting if they started slowly pulling these EU characters in.
It'd be nice.
It would.
It'd be nice. They're doing it in Rebels, man.
Yeah,
they're doing it. So either that, or he's gonna be tall Yoda, something like that.
All right.
And Star Wars finally in closing.
Yeah.
Would you like to see a TV show of Star Wars live TV?
Is it going to happen, Dave?
Probably not, but I mean, it's possible. It's all talk is still on the table.
Oh.
They're not discounting it.
Okay.
Of course, but we know, as we all know, and CBS Paramount has already told us that that this crazy sci-fi stuff doesn't work on regular television, so it'll probably go straight to streaming.
Probably.
Yeah, for $9.95 a month, you can watch one episode a week of Star Wars, the live action series. No. I bet people would do that.
Yeah, they'd probably just go over to Netflix.
Are you sure?
I think so.
Okay. All right, Brian. What do we have next?
We have This Week in Geek History and Celebrity Birthdays next.
Yay! All right, we'll be back. This is The Week in Geek on Fox Sports 1280.
Come to New Orleans' premier tabletop gaming store, Go For Games, located on 701 David Drive in Metairie. Warhammer, War Machine, Magic the Gathering, HeroClix, Pathfinder, and many more. Visit us at gophergamesnola.com. That's GO4 gamesnola.com for the latest news and upcoming events. We're open 7 days a week. Call us at 504-324-8335 or come on by. Go For Games, your gaming destination.
The Vaping Tiger at 2812 Athenia Parkway. 1 block off Vets behind the Lazy Boy Gallery. The Vaping Tiger has handcrafted, artisan-blended e-juices. The Vaping Tiger, 2812 Athenia Parkway and vapingtiger.com.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
When you're in need of pain relief, come to Need It Relief Massage Therapy. Kat is an experienced licensed massage therapist. Check out her website and book your session online now at massagetherapykm.com. Need It Relief Massage Therapy for some much needed relief.
Kasha's Bazaar has an unconventional inventory for the discerning geek collector. Comic book related collectibles, vintage New Orleans items, militaria, and plenty for your mundane friends. Kasha's Bazaar, 5727 Jefferson Highway, the Unflea Market.
Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Before you get booked up, head over to 631 North Carrollton, right off Orleans, to Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Off the books, Tubby & Coos is a nerd mecca for books, board games, and geeky t-shirts. So book it over to Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop at 631 North Carrollton. If you don't want to do it by the book, use their free Wi-Fi and check their stock at tubbyandcoos.com. Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop, where it's all geek to me.
Now back to The Week in Geek.
Ooh, I'm so happy.
Broadcasting from the tubbyandcoos.com studios, here's David and Brian.
This is brilliant dialogue.
Welcome back, New Orleans. You're listening to The Week in Geek on Fox Sports 1280. This is Brian Held with
D Squared. Well, we haven't done that. This is the first time the whole show we've done that.
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy.
It is.
Knocking the rust off.
All right. Ready for This Week in Geek history?
I'm always not ready for that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, here we go. No, dang it. See? You'd think I'd learn by now.
Uh-huh.
This Week in Geek History.
We're sending you back to the future. Yes! Oh my gosh!
This Week in Geek History is brought to you by Five Stones Media. Find them on the net at fivestonesmedia.com.
This Week in Geek History.
Yes! Oh my gosh!
All right. First item on my list is January 9th, 1983. The world's first video game championship is held in Iowa by Twin Galaxies. It's an organization founded by Walter Day that records video game world records. The championship is preceded by the world's first video game themed parade.
Jesus.
Parade has 4 horses, several Shriner motorcycles, a kid wearing a cardboard Pac-Man cutout over his head, a few flag-bearing contestants in the coming championship, and a torchbearer. So
a torchbearer.
Yeah, I don't think Mardi Gras got anything to worry about.
Wow.
Competition
Only in Iowa.
Yeah, there you go. So competition was won by Ben Gold. He was 16, who scored over 40 million points in Stargate over 35 hours and 50 minutes.
Whoa.
So, yeah.
That's actually kind of impressive.
Yeah. All right. Next item on my list is January 10th, 1927. The first science fiction film in history, and becomes a cult classic, directed by Fritz Lang. Can you guess what it is, Dave?
Oh my God! Black Hole. I don't know.
No, that was from Disney. It's Metropolis.
Oh yeah, the weird looking robot. Like
Yeah.
C-3PO was based off of, huh?
Yeah, it took 2 years to shoot. It cost more to produce than any prior silent film. Let's see.
I don't think I've ever watched that.
It's been. I saw a long time
my
ago.
father-in-law the T-shirt actually.
Yeah.
I found it. I was like, hey, this is a cool T-shirt.
No, it is cool. It was the first blockbuster ever.
Oh, blockbuster.
Yeah. So and of
Where
course,
does the term blockbuster come from?
I will have to look that up.
Well, damn it.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
Homework.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right. This one's kind of interesting. January 11th, 1902. Popular Mechanics is published for the very first time.
Wow.
Dude, I really like that magazine. It's really kind of cool. At the time, the magazine has 5 paying subscribers.
5?
And will be purchased by a few hundred newsstand customers at a nickel a copy.
Big bucks.
Yes. So
Popular Mechanics.
Yeah.
Who would have thunk? They probably talked about like screwdrivers. What's the difference between a Phillips and a flathead?
Well, you know.
Now they're talking like, quantum mechanics.
They've been talking about flying cars for a long time. They always bring that one up.
Well, they should stop because it's apparently not happening. Apparently, see, you just shot down all the Popular Mechanics' credibility. Now.
Well,
they were hard-hitting journalists.
We can't drive on the roads as it is.
I'm just waiting for that self-driving car. Come on, Google. Get it together.
Right. I just saw something that
Ford trying to do one now,
Ford is trying to produce a car with no pedals and no steering wheel.
God, what do they call it? The Nightmare Mobile? Soapbox?
Well, somebody responded on our page, and they're like, well, it'll operate like every other Ford. It won't go anywhere.
Man,
yeah.
Ford.
All right. January 12th, 1997. This is a fiction one. This is according to the 1992 film 2001: A Space Odyssey.
I'm sorry, Dave. I can't do that.
HAL becomes operational. The HAL 9000, the heuristically programmed algorithmic computer.
Oh, so that's the date you just gave me was a fictional date?
Yes.
You can't do that.
Why not?
That's not how we roll.
Well,
we're talking about history, not fake history.
Well, the history.
You can't just make crap up on the fly.
The history is the fact that it was mentioned in the movie that was the date.
So it's movie history in a movie's timeline? See, now this is just hurting my head. This is like a time warp all over again. I'm stuck in a loop.
Uh-huh. All right.
I'm stuck in a loop.
You ready for the next one?
I'm stuck in a loop.
No, you're not. January 13th, 1404. I thought this was kind of cool. The English Parliament passes the Act of Multipliers.
What?
Forbidding alchemists from using transmutation to create or multiply precious metals, specifically gold and silver, comes in response to the widespread fear that alchemists would succeed in their projects and ruin the nation or install a despot.
That is awesome.
Isn't it?
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, all right, so we didn't get to it in Top Nerd News. Time After Time is a TV series that's going to be coming on ABC.
Right.
And it's set in like Victorian England. And it's Jack the Ripper and H.G. Wells, who builds a time machine. Jack the Ripper comes back. It was a movie from 1979 with Roddy McDowell, I think it was.
Yeah.
And it was, like these anachronistic jokes like, I'm in a disco. Look, the Victorian guy in a disco. Why are they bumping? Just stupid crap like that. It was kind of funny, but now they're making a TV show out of it. And it's funny because you're talking about the alchemist stuff.
Right.
It just made me think about the Victorian era where I didn't realize where hipsters came from. They come from Victorian era England because they all got those big bushy beards.
Okay.
And so, he trims it, and shaves it so he's all like scruffy and attractive looking.
So you're saying hipsters are time travelers?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. PBR must be like from some monastery in like Belgium. I don't know.
All right. Last one on my list. I've got to guess. You got to guess for it. January 15th, 2010.
Ooh, it's recent.
Starring Denzel Washington.
Training Day.
Gary Oldman, Mila Kunis, Ray Stevenson, and Jennifer Beals.
Mila Kunis? How do I not know a movie with Mila Kunis in it? Oh, my God. I have no clue.
The Book of Eli.
Oh, that was a great movie.
I love that movie.
Holy crap, was that movie good.
Yes.
That was a good movie. It even had a twist that I didn't even see at the end.
Yeah.
Didn't see at the end. Awesome. Here all week. Try the video.
Yeah. You ready for some birthdays?
Sure.
All right. On the 19th, Joey Adams. You would recognize her from Chasing Amy. She was also in Mallrats.
The blonde.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She took her top off in that movie. She was awesome.
That's why you'd recognize her.
Yes.
Okay.
She's got a weird voice, though, too.
She does.
Like really raspy, but she's hot.
Mm-hmm. On the 12th, Rob Zombie.
Oh, my God. That dude is not hot.
No.
He looks like a scruffy-looking nerf herder.
All right. How about this hot guy? On the 13th,
hot guy.
Orlando Bloom.
He is a good-looking dude.
Yeah?
Yes, he is.
Also on the 13th, William B. Davis. He was the smoking man from the X-Files.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, who was the guy who was, he played like the new smoking man. He was at Wizard World, too. He didn't play the smoking man. He was in the new X-Files. X-Files, Fox asked for more X-Files.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's crazy.
I saw that. Let's see.
I couldn't get back into it, though.
Yeah. On the 14th, Mark Addy's Game of Thrones, Knight's Tale, Full Monty's, a bunch of stuff.
A Knight's Tale. The greatest movie ever.
And also on the 14th, Carrie Green. She played Andy the cheerleader in Goonies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Goonies.
So that's it. Next week, Dave, we're going to have an interview with Paul S. Kemp and talking about his book, A Conversation in Blood.
Wow.
Also an advanced copy that we got for the show. And on this Saturday at 9 a.m., I'm doing an interview with Chewbacca.
Get out.
Yes.
Like the new Chewbacca?
The new Chewbacca. He's going to call me all the way from London.
Have you hashtag Chewbacca, or is that already been hashtagged?
It's already, and the ladies have hashtag Hot Baka, too.
He's a good-looking dude, too. He's Gigantosaurus, dude.
6'10".
I love the picture of him at the which booth was it? The Rebel Fleet fan group with the
Dagobah base.
Yeah. They took the picture. His head was way above the line.
Yeah, no, it's good
us
stuff.
normal people barely reach the top.
Yeah, no, I got to hang out with him for a little bit. He's a really cool dude.
Cool deal.
Yeah.
All right, guys. As always, check out the Facebook page. Like us on Facebook. Check out the show on Spreaker.com and FoxSportsAM1280.com. Till next time, keep your nerd flag raised high.
GFL.
Strange.
We are Fox Sports 1280. WODT New Orleans, an iHeart radio station.